The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Call 1-888-FARMERS to switch, and you could save an average of $470 on your auto insurance. That's a lot of money in just a few minutes. With savings like that, you could be lounging on an impractical amount of ornate and overpriced throw pillows you bought for your couch. But you won't, because you're better with money than that. That's why you're calling us in the first place. Call 1-888-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Based on average nationwide annual savings survey data July to December 2020. Underwritten by Farmers Trucker Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate. Products not available in every state.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what are you guys up to?
Oh, little weed, you know.
It's the Weedsman Podcast Nugget.
Zippity what?
Ready to drop the bass? Let's drop the bass.
Whoop-de-doo. What does it all mean?
All the random stuff that didn't fit in Friday's show, you'll find here.
Oh, okay. Hey, man. You got a joint? Got a little bit of refried smell on your boy? What that mean? Please, just give me my weed, all right?
You want to meet the sea slug meet the sea slug that chops its head off
I saw this.
and grows a new body? Did you see this shit?
I saw it on Google. I didn't click on it, but I'm aware that it's out there.
Well, it's some shit. You got to see this video, because what I didn't take into account is that A, the slug detaches its own head, and B, the head gets around just fine, and the body still responds as well. And there's a video of this on this is on the New York Times. Oh, you probably can't see this, can you?
Let's see.
I bet you could see the video if you find it, because it's out there. It's just a sea slug, and some.
Oh, it's a new month. I'm allowed to read this.
Oh yeah, you'll be one of your free articles.
Yeah,
it's worth it, dude. Because watching this little slug head book around and even bump into its now decapitated body and see the body actually react to it. It's
no
a trip.
video in the story. There's just pictures with it, but I'm also looking at it on my phone.
Oh, yeah. No, it moves like that. The head is moving around inside. Well, it's inside of water, but it's on a white background, so it's in a lab environment somewhere. The head's just kind of swimming around.
And why does this do this? Like defense or
apparently
what?
Because of parasites. In order to rid itself of parasites is what it says here. Let's see. Self-amputation known as autonomy. Really? That's a weird choice of word, isn't it?
Right.
Like, autonomy is a word, like, we have that. We use it all the time. Like, when we talk about, making our own decisions, be responsible for ourselves, we have autonomy. We decide for ourselves as individuals. And to use that as, like, losing a body part, like, I'm giving the rest of my body. My head is giving autonomy to the rest of my body. You're not really that's really sugarcoating it, because what's happening here is the head is going, this body's a loser. I can grow a new one better than this. And leaving that body to be eaten by parasites until it dies of starvation, I imagine, because the fucking head took off with the mouth. What's it going to do?
And the body's still chilling? Well, yeah, I guess it's just a carcass.
Yeah, I mean, but it responds. That's the thing. Like the head in the video, the head bumps into the body, and the body kind of curls up. Like, I'm not saying has any kind of thoughts going on inside that body, but there's some kind of nervous system still operating that is responding.
It's so it's like what chickens do, right? How the body runs around for a minute after the chicken head autonomy.
Right, but it's like if chickens pop their own heads off.
Yeah, if the chicken made its own head autonomous.
And it's kind of the opposite of it, because the head seems to die right away. Because the thing with the chicken is that their brain and the brain and the spinal column kind of blend together, right? There's a lot of like in a human and in a lot of mammals, the higher brain function is all up in the head where it can be well protected. And, there's still a lot of activity going down in the brain stem, but that's just spreading the message coming from the brain itself. There's a lot of crossover in the chicken. And kind of like, remember hearing about like the Stegosaurus as a kid?
Oh,
The craziest fact about the Stegosaurus, I believe it was a Stegosaurus, and probably a lot of other dinosaurs, it had like what they considered a secondary brain in the rear that actually controlled the motor functions back there for the tail and the rear legs.
So it's like the Volkswagen Bug of dinosaurs.
Yeah, right. And apparently they're both the size of an acorn.
So a not very smart dinosaur, just enough brain power to operate.
Let's not be specious here. I mean, because brain power and brain size are not always correlating. Although it's more about the amount of energy that a brain uses. And a bigger brain can use more energy. Absolutely. Where was I? We're talking about brains. Where's the brain? So
sea slug.
Right, but in the chicken. So in the chicken, you have like they have like the brain part that's up in the head, and then there's another one that's down lower in the neck. And so if you hit it right, you'll actually sever it between those two. I don't know, let's call them lobes, I guess. And you take the head off, which seems to die almost immediately. But the other part that still has a heart that is circulating blood and all that stuff still has enough brain matter to like do all kinds of things, run around. Actually, there's been documented evidence of chickens living for years with no head.
What? Years?
No, absolutely, because they become an attraction, right? So there was one story, and you can look this shit up. There was a really famous headless chicken that would go around like touring like a freak show.
Why do I feel like
county fairs and all this shit? It's not. No, really. The farmer would feed the headless chicken with like a turkey baster or some shit, or maybe even an eyedropper, and just like drip shit down its throat in order to get nutrients into it. And I think, if I remember correctly, it ended up dying because it choked on. It was like trying to eat. It choked on a piece of feed that it was trying to eat. They got stuck in its throat. But yeah, I mean, this chicken just, as long as they kept it fed and, kept water down its neck hole.
Open neck hole, how does food get stuck in there? Just, you jostle it. Yeah, there you go.
Right, but I think that this happened when the chicken was not being supervised. It's a special needs chicken, right? So it wasn't like they just let it die.
Technically, yes.
Yeah. Although, maybe they should have. I don't know. Like, what would...
Jeff Goldblum, once again, what is it? They were still thinking about what they, could have done. They never think about.
Well, it was an accident. Like, I don't think that.
Why should you?
I'm sure people have tried to do this on purpose, but a lot of the stories that we hear about these famous headless chickens, it's not like I'm going to make a zombie chicken. It's like I tried to make dinner, and dinner wouldn't stop moving.
But why continue to feed and nourish your dead dinner?
Well, first of all, you got to show the rest of the family, right? I mean, you got to witness this. And then you realize, like, other people want to see this.
So we're factoring in, holy shit, come look at this. That's a factor.
Yeah. Well, absolutely, because that turns into now people that I don't even know will probably want to see this as well, which means that you're going to start charging money. And what? I mean, look, if you can get an angle that can get you some scratch and some attention for your farm, who wouldn't do that?
I guess.
Could you imagine What if it was possible for people to be in a similar state? Like we have vegetative state where we understand that there's no higher brain function going on, people on life support and stuff like that. But what if there was a division where there was like no higher function, but the person could still, I mean, they would run into walls, but they could still walk, right? They were like totally zombified.
Well, we'd have to get them together,
What would we
with the
do?
cryogenics lab.
Well, really?
Right? Get Ted Williams.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Dear home, we need a change. A room evolution. We need HomeSense. A new store where one bold piece can change your whole place. Like a leather sofa built for beauty and binge watching. With endless discoveries, I'll always bring you something pretty or cool or pretty cool. Want a hand-woven rug? Game-changing savings mean the answer is yes. I'm going now. There are new stores in Carl Place, New York and Toms River, New Jersey. Love you. HomeSense. This changes everything.
At NJM Insurance, making our customers happy is what makes us number one. J.D. Power ranked us first in the nation for customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience. Get award-winning service at njm.com. This isn't just insurance, it's NJM.
ChristopherMedia.net.
The Weedsman Podcast.
Really, the question is, do zombies have rights? I guess is what we're trying to get to.
I don't know.
Do they?
Can they pay taxes?
I don't know. Look, one of the most popular zombie movies is Shaun of the Dead, right? In that movie, at the end, his best friend becomes a zombie, but he doesn't kill him. Right? He saves him locked up in a room where he can go hang out with him and play video games. He can't bring himself to kill.
So he can't kill him?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, is that any different than owning a pit bull? I ask you, sir. A pit bull is a dog that was bred for being a badass, right? It was like, how big of a head can we get on this thing, see if we can snap a man's leg in two? That was pretty much the idea behind the pit bull. And we want to have them around as pets too, so we got to, show them who's boss. Now, we don't have to keep them chained up all the time, but, still. A zombie is just like having a pit bull that you can't really train, so you have to leave them, you have to, use the cage a lot. A lot of cage training for zombies.
Remember a year ago when everybody thought COVID was the zombie disease?
And honestly, I'm sure people have, people have tackled this in fiction because we have iZombie, where you have a very humanized version of a zombie. Zombieism is more of an affliction. It doesn't totally wipe out a person's personality, but if not fed with brains, that person could go into a full feral zombie state. And so there was the idea of zombie rights. That was the show where the singer Rob Thomas from, what's he from? Matchbox 20? Is that right?
Yes.
He's in it. He makes a special appearance where he gets ripped apart by zombies. It's actually a joke because Rob Thomas, the producer of iZombie and also Veronica Mars, often gets confused for Rob Thomas, the singer of Matchbox 20.
Aha.
And so he had him on his show, and then he has him getting eaten by zombies.
So it's kind of...
The only thing wrong with that scene was the missed opportunity to go, I'm not that Rob Thomas.
Right.
You got the wrong one.
I fully support Rob Thomas getting killed on a TV show.
Yeah, is Rob Thomas a good vocalist? I don't know.
He's a good songwriter.
All I know, he kind of has a little bit of that. I don't know. He's kind of whiny, right?
He knew how to write a song for 5 years in the early 2000s and get it on the radio.
Yeah. I'm trying to replay Matchbox 20 songs in my head. I'm not hearing a lot of range there. Just a lot of I don't know. Not a lot of sustained notes either.
And then he wrote that song with Santana. He wrote
that
one.
But I don't. How much credit do you get for that?
I think he wrote it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's not a bad song then. If he actually had a major hand in writing that song, I'll give him credit for it. I mean, I want to rip my ears off my head when I hear it, but I will at least admit that it's a good song, well produced.
I would kill for
executed.
a song like that to come out in 2021. Song came out like that now, I'd be like, that's great.
Yes. Now that sounds like music.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that we get to use this platform to gripe about stuff, and primarily, when it comes to music, this is something that we're passionate about. We are musicians, and we know what it's like to try and grind and try and get some attention and get some notice and actually make something of it, and it's fucking hard. And I also don't really like shitting on what other people enjoy. If people are really getting an enjoyment out of oh shit, what's her name? The young girl that has the Apple Plus documentary about her.
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish, yes, thank you. People seem to get a lot of enjoyment out of that. That's fine. I'm not trying to crap on that. But I don't know what we're going to remember her for. I don't know. All of this.
She won 9 Grammys at 18. That's pretty memorable.
That's insane. And yeah, I get maybe. I just think that she's going to have to become something different if she has anything kind of a career. I mean,
well, my question is, where do you go? That was her debut album.
Yeah, I don't know where you go.
Like, dude, you pretty much came out to the pinnacle. Like, she didn't just win. I'm not sure she won Best New Artist or not, and I'm not sure that's the kiss of death like it used to be back in the day. But she not only won Best New Artist, she won like everything last year.
And it just seems like that's like giving the Daha song 9 Grammys, right? A song that nobody will ever remember again. It was funny for apparently for a year.
And
then
song?
We moved on. Daha, Daha, Daha. You don't know the Daha song?
I don't even know what that is.
You gotta look it up. Dude, if Google shuts us down for playing the Daha song, like nobody's owing money on that shit. Let's see. Maybe I can find it. I think it's just called Daha. Rappin' Duke. It's Rappin' Duke. This kid, I think this is maybe somebody was doing a version of the song. I don't remember it being all about John Wayne.
So you think you're bad with your rap? Well, I'll tell you, Pilgrim, I started the crap when you were in diapers and wetting the shit.
So you're saying this is Billie Eilish? You think that's like giving that a Grammy?
But you got to hear the chorus. You got to hear the Daha part. Thank you. I needed that in there for context. Otherwise, I sound like an idiot.
True. You're right.
Like, no, that's what he sounds like. Yes, that was my greater point. That Bad Guy song reminds me of the Rappin' Duke song.
That's what won her 9 fucking Grammys. Is that song?
I mean, it's a melody that sounds like she stole it off a Fisher-Price toy. A single melody. There's nothing else really going on in there. She's just mumbling. I give up. I'm not going to trash her. She makes a shit ton of money. People love her enough to throw awards at her. I'm curious as to what she could produce next without having to totally reinvent herself in some way.
Yeah, my question is it sustainable? And yeah, and having this happen at 18, there is a fantastic stint in rehab coming. Because in 5 years when people have moved on.
Yeah. Oh, and she's, just this a great American success story, isn't she? This out of nowhere young kid, shot to stardom, Grammy winning, rags to riches story, only we have a whole, I haven't watched the documentary, but you see in the advertisements what her home life looked like. And I'm like, she was well off and her parents had some connections.
Yes.
And they pushed her towards music.
From what I know about her, yes, her parents were loaded, artsy parents.
This is another
stage
fucking
parents.
Kids of entertainment lawyers thinking that they're fucking talented because their parents have fluffed them the whole time that they grew up because they need them to be, because they needed them to be stars. Well, that's their retirement plan. Like, we're getting a fucking boat. Well, you see how many Grammys their daughter got?
Well, it's the same.
I ordered my boat. What color did you get?
Well, yeah, it's the same type of assholes who push their kids into sports, right? They weren't good at sports, so they want their kid to be good at sports. And it's the same thing, just when you do it with music or the arts when you're the stage parents.
I think that it's even more insidious, though, right? Because at least you can claim that there's some bonding going on between, even if you are living vicariously through your kid, hopefully you're also bonding with them over that sport, and it's an excuse for when you have kids, any excuse, especially when they get into their teens, any kind of conversation you can have with them that lasts more than 5 minutes, take it. I don't care what the fuck learn something about Pokemon. Like, whatever you got to do, that's how you got to get your kids to open up to you. So any kind of commonality, you got to exploit that. But this isn't that. Like, the entertainment business is something totally different, because I don't really see it as like this bonding, or like maybe there is some of this, like, I wanted to be a rock star, so I want to raise my kids to be rock stars. But it seems more Honey Boo Boo than, sports legacy type of thing,
Yeah.
It's more exploitative. And the other side of this too is that with the sports thing, you can have success without, like, if you're, really into football, your dad was really into football, right? You want to be successful for him. You can be successful at a high school level and, make your father proud and have that bond and all that, it's not for every parent that has that relationship like NFL or bust. Some of them do have that.
Also, too, with sports,
I don't think that's the majority of it.
It can become evident really quick with sports if it's going to happen or not. Like, either the kid's going to be good and make the teams or not.
Right.
With stuff like the arts,
you probably have some
pushing that kid and pushing that kid and pushing that kid.
Right, because it's more numbers based. You can go and you have other people around you going, look, this kid is good, but good ain't cutting it, right?
Yeah.
And, you can have that reality of like, okay, look, we had our moment. We will always be able to share that. And hopefully, sports did something for my kid that, helped them, build bonds and stuff like that, and helped us build bonds. But the only, like, if you're priming your kid to be like a Grammy winning fucking stadium sellout artist, that's your only measure of success then, right? Is achieving that 1 in a million moonshot of even somebody with connections and the drive to achieve. Billie Eilish is a dime a dozen, especially if you've ever worked in music education. You've seen these parents, and you're like, your kid has not a chance in hell, but as long as the kids are having fun, let's go with it, right? I'm not saying that they're not going to be a musician. They won't love music. They won't really appreciate the music lessons that they got as a kid. Just, you're not raising the next Britney Spears. Let's get things in perspective. Then again, the amount of talent in Britney Spears, there's a lot of makeup that they can put on a pig. That's a bad analogy. That's not really what I meant. I didn't mean to call Britney Spears a pig.
Oh, you're going to have to apologize.
Yeah. Sorry, Justin. For calling your ex a pig. No. So you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of wandering here, but there's no intermediate success, right? If you're just selling CDs out of your trunk and maybe maybe even like just barely paying a little bit of rent on your own as an independent artist. Like as an independent artist, you go, that's success, man. I'm like, this is the start of like, I'm actually, getting attention. I'm pushing my own product. I'm keeping all my own money and paying the rent. Like I was never able to do that as a musician. I could never make enough money to pay a month's rent. So that is a success for me. How is that going to be a success for Billie Eilish's parents ever? Like they're trying to raise like Kardashian level fucking fame. And I mean, they achieved it. That's great. But how many more relationships out there that are being, that this is, probably driving a wedge between the people and their kids.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So,
I don't know.
Stage parents are a shitty breed.
Yeah. They're always the villains, right? Every show, you see them pop up on a TV show, in a movie. They are always, if they are not the villains, then they are absolutely wrong throughout the whole thing and have to have some redemptive moment. They are never portrayed as a good thing. But yet we love the output.
Right.
We don't really want to see how the sausage is made. How the Britney sausage is made.
Call 1-888-FARMERS to switch, and you could save an average of $470 on your auto insurance. That's a lot of money in just a few minutes. With savings like that, you could be lounging on an impractical amount of ornate and overpriced throw pillows you bought for your couch. But you won't, because you're better with money than that. That's why you're calling us in the first place. Call 1-888-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Based on average nationwide annual savings survey data July to December 2020, underwritten by Farmers Trucker Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate. Products not available in every state.
New Extra Charge Hot and Iced Coffee from Dunkin' is made with 20% extra caffeine from green coffee extract, because we could all use a little extra this year. Whether that's an extra boost, some extra boldness, or the drive to go the extra mile, we're extra ready for whatever comes our way and extra excited to take it on. Let's get it done with a medium extra charged coffee from Dunkin' for $2 with 20% more caffeine. And pair it with snackable stuffed bagel minis for an added all-day boost. Order ahead on the Dunkin' app. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.